This is the video that I shot in DJI Action 5 Pro right out of the box in default setting. This is the footage that I shot in the same camera with different settings with a ND filter. The default setting from the DJI camera isn't that good. It's kind of sharp and the picture quality isn't that great, but it has a lot of detail. For motovlogging, we need a lot of motion blur and other things that you see in this second footage. In this video, I'll share all the settings that I use to transform the video from looking like this to looking like this. So let's get started. This is the camera that I use for motovlogging. This is from DJI Action 5 Pro. If you're using some other GoPro or any other action camera, the settings should be the same. We'll start with the frames, which is very important. That is basically 3 frame rates that we actually use, which are basically 24 frames, 30 frames and 60 frames. 24 for motovlogging feels a lot jerky. I tried using 24 frames with this DJI camera and the footage looks given the compact size. I think it performs good, but 24 is not for an action camera. So the next is 30 frames, which is widely used across YouTube platforms because that's what looks natural. If I'm not shooting a footage in action camera, I would be probably shooting in 30 frames. Only in action camera, I'm using 60 frames. Let me tell you why. As a motovlogger, we'll be primarily mounting this to our helmet. That will capture a lot of surrounding stuffs that are moving very fast. There, 60 frames is really good. Currently, I've switched completely to 60 frames if I'm shooting a video in action camera. Most of the reviews that you see are like shot in 60 frames and uploaded in 60 frames. If I'm shooting a shot from Samsung S24, I probably shoot it in 30 and then put the video in the 60 frames timelines. Now coming to the most important thing everyone is talking about is the shutter speed. There's a rule that is already out there which is called 180-degree shutter. I don't agree with that. What 180-degree shutter means is that if you are using 24 frame rate, you should be using 48 shutter. That's not something I would agree on. You can use 48. 48 shutter is how your eyes actually see stuff. But if you apply the same to the 30 frame rate, you get 60 shutter, which is also okayish and you have proper motion blur. It looks nice. But if you apply the same to 60 frame rate, it doesn't look good. In 60 frames, you have to set 120 shutter, which is very high, and it starts to look artificial. I have tried all the frame rates with all the shutter speeds. This is the video that I shot with 60 frames and 120 shutter. You can click on here and watch the video. That looks abnormally smooth. That doesn't have enough motion blur as well. The sweet spot is 60 frames with 60 shutter. That is the ideal spot where you get proper feel of 60 frames and you also have the motion blur. So it has the smoothness of the 60 frames as well as it has the motion blur of a 60 shutter. I do personally think that shutter is something that is not really dependent on the frame rate. 2x is not something you should be always having in the mind. To make the video a bit more nicer, I think higher frame rate really helps. So that's my frame rate and shutter recommendation. Usually a lot of YouTubers recommend sticking to standard 100 ISO. I don't do that. Climate has its own mood swings. So it's bright sometime, it's cloudy sometime. So you cannot stick to a single ISO, especially when you're like sticking to a particular shutter speed. ISO should be in auto. Usually I keep in DJI 100 to 800. And the next important thing is this ND filter. So this has 4 filters. CPL is basically a reflection anti-glare kind of filter that I never use. 8, 16 and 32 is there. DJI Action 5 Pro is really good in low light. What that means is that the sensor is allowing a lot of light. So you need a really higher number ND filters. I don't think it's the same with GoPro. GoPro might need a little less number. So I usually at afternoon 2 or 3, I would go for 32. And if it's like evening 4 or 4:30, I'll go for ND16. ND8 is something I never use. Basically cooler for your camera, guys. As you can see in indoor, it's like really dark. That's why I keep it in 100 to 800. I usually prefer the ISO to be around 400 so that if it gets dark, the ISO can move up to 800 and brighten the video, and if it's a bit too bright, it will reduce the ISO to 100. And also, if you're buying an ND filter, make sure it's a proper quality one. There is a lot of cheap stuff out there. Quality ND filter is really required for good picture quality, so make sure you're getting a quality one. So I think, yeah, that's about all the stuffs I do. And white balance, I leave it in auto, and also I shoot in D-Log mode. If I want to correct some color in post, I'll do that. Even if you just go for a standard color, you can simply drag and drop a lat and it will be done. It's a very easy job, so I would highly recommend to shoot in D-Log mode. Now coming to the setup that I use for shooting my Motovlog, this is how I do. I have this Action Pro this strap mounted. It works really good, but there is one issue with this. If you close the visor, the straps get in the way, so there is always some air leakage. So someone who do a lot of long rides, this is not something you should be doing. This is something very cheap. It's around like 400 rupees, I guess, and it is easily detachable as well. If you want to attach this camera, you can just slide it like this. Action camera goes like this. This is very simple, and if you want to remove it, you can just unclip it like this. It just comes like that. So this is the microphone I am currently using to record this video. Now what I do is that I mount this DJI Mic Mini directly to the straps that are here, so right in front of my mouth. You got to do few settings to make this work. If you just directly mount this mic mini in right front of your mouth, it will start clipping. For that, what you have to do is that you have to go into the setting inside this DJI Action 5 Pro. In settings, you can see there is a clipping control function that you need to turn on, otherwise your audio will be clipping. Other important thing is that you got to shoot in mono. The stereo recording is not good in this mic. This is not a really great mic, but it does the job, and that's how it looks. Yeah, it's quite compact. It doesn't feel that awkward in public, at least for me. Yeah, that's all for this video, guys. If you have any doubts, if you want to ask me something, leave a comment below. I'll reply to you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.